What's up? Okay, so marriage and addiction. Addiction and marriage. Can you marry an addict? Is it worth the time? Or is it just a mistake that you should do everything to avoid? Is someone who is an addict not worth marrying at all? And is that just a big red flag that you should be obviously paying attention to and run away from that person? Or should you have more patience with that person? Okay. I'm going to tell you my breakup story. I'm going to tell you the whole story leading up to the breakup, and afterwards. Okay. I'm talking about those two words, marriage and addiction, because those are two central words that were in my mind with my relationship. I'd probably say, you know, a good majority of the time. And those were two things that we talked about a lot right before the breakup. But when I had met my ex, Lise, I smoked and I drank. I smoked and I drank. And I smoked whenever I wanted, a lot. I am embarrassed to say how much I smoked, but it was something that consumed me. It was something that I felt that I needed to do, and I enjoyed it while I did it. But to be honest with you, it was an addiction that I didn't realize I was addicted to. And I thank God that I have finally quit smoking. And it has been over 3 years now since I have smoked. So shout out to me and shout out to, no, shout out to God because that certainly wasn't me to quit. It was very difficult. I had tried to quit and relapsed, but thank God it has been over 3 years since I've smoked. Well, at the time I quit smoking, I was going through quite a few things, like outside of my relationship with my ex, just other life stuff. I had a whole career change. I had a whole living change. I bought a home. I was trying to do deliveries and Uber Eats and DoorDash, thinking that I could find success with that because a lot of people were doing that, while trying to build this business. And the whole time, to be honest with you, my ex was supportive. While I was doing all that, I was stressed though, and I drank because I wasn't smoking. So I drank. And I had so many, like, looking back on it, so many gross habits related to drinking. So I'll talk about that in a future video, but I'll say my ex put up with a lot, okay? She put up with a lot of my habits, and that's why I do have a sense of remorse for my actions about addiction. Now, the one thing that gave me hope is the fact that I did quit smoking, and while I was smoking, I did not see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to, like, quitting. I didn't see how it was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I was hopeless. I just prayed and prayed and prayed. And finally, I quit. I quit. Like, it finally happened. Okay. So that was something that I kept in the back of my mind while I was drinking. I had some gross habits related to drinking, but at the same time, my ex and I, we talked about marriage a lot, just like anybody else would. We talked about our future with each other, looking at rings, what kind of wedding we would have, living together, buying a home together, careers, life goals, the normal conversations you would have. I'm mentioning this because my ex is the most significant woman that I've ever dated, who has made such an impact in my life emotionally. Um, I mean, that's an important thing for me to say because I wouldn't just be spending this much time talking about this relationship. Although I don't know, maybe I'm just like a sucker for women, I guess, because I don't know. I just love women, and like I like being in a relationship and like the feeling of love and all that kind of stuff. Just like anybody else, I'm not trying to. I'm being honest. I'm not that like guy who has so much pride that they feel like they can just um, move on and hop from woman to woman, because I've been that guy. I've been that guy. And I can be that guy just like anybody else could, but it's not worth it, because when you find somebody who like makes a mark in your life that is or I should say influences your life in like a really positive way. I don't mean a mark like a blemish, but like they add something to your life, you know what I mean? And they enhance your life. That's important. And that's what I believe that my ex has done to me. She's truly like enhanced my life, and that's why that's one of the reasons why it's a painful thing to deal with, her breaking up with me. So she brought up this addiction multiple times in our relationship. There are many other things that she's had concerns with, and trust me, I've had issues with her too, but she's brought up many other things. But this is the one thing that I believe that if I could have gotten over this in her timing, maybe we would have still been together. She brought up the idea of us seeking counseling, and we did that. She facilitated that. We did that 3 times. We met with the counselor. I think that we were getting somewhere with the counselor, but I don't think she thought that. But, that's a bias. But honestly, I think really she just wanted, maybe, this is my opinion, right? I think maybe she wanted me to get to that counselor, and somehow that counselor spit something in my head that makes me be like, I'm going to quit right now. And I actually did do that. I told her that right there in the counseling session, because I felt like that's what she wanted to hear. But that wasn't exactly what I was really going to do. Honestly, I was hungover in the counseling session. I remember that. Okay. Honestly, I'm being honest, because I had a serious habit. Okay? And it didn't happen when she wanted it to happen. And so she eventually gave up. It was the day after Election Day. She called me and she broke up with me over FaceTime. And I didn't like that. But you know what? It's okay, because I could tell that she was trying to be caring about it. And she even popped up at my house later on that same day just to kind of talk about it in person. And I really appreciate her. She's a real one for doing that. But, I understand. She told me not to contact her anymore. A couple days later, I did. She did contact me about some stuff. And I had popped up at her job the next day. And I delivered her some flowers and a poem, because she told me not to call her or text her. But she didn't say I couldn't bring her flowers. So I brought her some flowers, okay? And I wrote a poem to express myself, because that's not a call or a text message. It's a poem, okay? So I gave her that. It was a couple days after. I know the whole no contact thing, but whatever. I'm not worried about no contact, because she's told me not to contact her. And so I'm going to go ahead and accept that that's what it is. Or, well, I have accepted it, that day that she's broken up with me. I'm not sitting there trying to like, oh my gosh, I'm certainly not praying for God to give her back to me, although I do miss her and I miss the experiences I've had with her. I'm absolutely not praying for God to bring her back to me, because I made that mistake in the past. And that's all I'm gonna say. But, my prayer is different. My prayer is that, just let God's will be done in the area of my relationship and whoever he decides to bring in my life. And that is a really difficult thing to pray to God for, when your heart is hurting bad for this person that you miss. But aftermath of the breakup, I have not had a desire to drink. And it's been almost 4 months and I haven't had a desire to drink. So that's the next thing I want to talk about as well. But now you all know the complete breakup story for the most part. I'm probably missing a lot more details, but that's the main gist of my breakup story. So, what do you think? Let me know your opinion. Leave a comment. Like the video; it helps. and subscribe to the channel.